Retire in 10 years. Not 30, not 40, 10. Most people hear that and laugh. They think it's impossible. They assume you need millions, a trust fund, some Wall Street secret. But the answer is plain math, and it's sitting right in front of you. The number is smaller than you fear, but bigger than you hope. For decades, we've been told the same story. Work 40 years, save a little, retire old. That narrative keeps you working the longest, and nobody questions it. But what if you decided today, right now, to break free? Step 1. Sit down. Write out every single monthly expense you have. Rent, food, transportation, healthcare, a few extras here and there. Let's say it all adds up to $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. That's your freedom number. If a system generates that income without you working, you're retired. Not private jet rich, but rich in time, freedom, and control. So how do you actually get there? One word: compounding. Compounding is the most powerful force in all of finance. Think of it like planting a tree. Year 1, small, fragile, no fruit. Year 2, still small, maybe 1 or 2 fruits, feels like nothing. But by year 5, the branches spread. The trunk thickens, dozens of fruits. By year 10, full shade, heavy harvest. The tree feeds you without effort. That's compounding. The early years are painfully slow. But the later years, they explode with growth. Most people quit after 2 or 3 years. They see no results and give up. They never see the explosion that comes after the quiet years. But here's where most finance videos stop telling you the truth. They show you neat charts growing at 7 or 10%. Everything looks perfect. But reality has 3 silent killers: inflation, taxes, fees. Inflation quietly steals your purchasing power every single year. Taxes cut into your returns before you even see them, and fees drag you down slowly, year after year after year. Let's run the real numbers. $1,000 a month for 10 years at 7%. That gives you roughly $175,000. Sounds great, right? Now just for 3% inflation. Your real buying power, only $135,000. What looked like a mountain is suddenly just a hill. You need to see the real return. What's left after inflation, taxes, and fees. Here's a concrete example. 8% return, minus 3% inflation, minus 1% taxes, minus 0.5% in fees. Your real return isn't 8%, it's 3.5. That's the truth. Over 10 years, that tiny difference means tens of thousands of dollars less. This is why people follow the plan for years and still come up short. But once you understand this, you can play the game smarter. Let's test 3 real scenarios, starting with the safest option. Scenario 1, high-yield savings and government bonds at 5%. $1,500 a month for 10 years gets you roughly $230,000. Adjusted for inflation, maybe $175,000. Covers rent, not freedom. Scenario 2, REITs, real estate investment trusts yielding 4 to 6%. $1,500 a month could land you close to $280,000 to $300,000, generating $1,200 to $1,500 a month in growing income. Getting serious. Scenario 3, broad stock market index funds, historically 10% before inflation. About 7% real return after inflation, the gold standard for long-term growth. $1,500 a month could grow to over $340,000, safely generating $1,400 to $1,600 a month, getting close to freedom. But we need $36,000 a year. That means we need a much bigger portfolio. Using the 4% rule, you'd need $900,000 saved. $900,000 in 10 years. That sounds like a mountain. The monthly number to hit that, roughly $5,500 a month. For most people, that sounds completely impossible, and they never even try. But here's the hidden truth. There are powerful levers you can pull. Levers that bring that massive number way, way down. Lever number 1, lifestyle design. This changes everything. If you can live comfortably on $2,000 a month instead of $3,000, your entire retirement math changes dramatically. The target portfolio drops from $900,000 to just $600,000. That means your monthly investment needed shrinks from $5,500 down to roughly $3,700 a month. That's a massive difference just from cutting $1,000 in expenses. Now go even leaner. If you can live on $1,500 a month, you only need $450,000 saved. That requires about $2,700 a month in contributions. Now we're talking realistic numbers. At $2,700 a month, many middle-income families in America can actually play this game. It's not just for the wealthy anymore. The math opens up when you control your spending. Lever number 2 is income growth, and this one is just as powerful. If you lock yourself into thinking your current salary is all you'll ever earn, the numbers feel absolutely crushing. But what if over the next decade you build new skills, switch to a higher-paying job, start a side hustle, and double your income? Suddenly, investing $3,000 to $4,000 a month doesn't feel like a prison. It feels like a choice. So here's the exact figure. To retire in 10 years with a reasonable lifestyle, you need to invest between $3,000 and $4,000 every single month consistently into a diversified portfolio earning around 7% after inflation. That's the number. It's not $200 a month. It's not even $1,000 a month. The price of a 10-year retirement timeline is high, but the reward is absolute freedom a decade from now. And here's a psychological truth nobody tells you about this journey. The first half feels absolutely brutal. You're carrying the entire load on your shoulders. Your savings rate drives everything. The portfolio barely helps. But around year 7, something magical shifts. The portfolio starts generating returns almost as large as your monthly contributions. The compounding engine finally kicks into high gear. By year 10, the portfolio itself is doing more work than you are. The snowball rolls downhill on its own. The tree gives fruit faster than you can eat it. That's the compounding payoff. So what separates the people who actually retire early from the ones who just dream about it? It's not willpower. It's not motivation. Those fade. The real secret is systems. Step 1. Set up automatic transfers from your paycheck directly into your investment accounts. Don't touch it. Don't think about it. Let the system handle the discipline for you. Step 2. Reinvest every single dividend automatically. Those small payments compound into massive growth over time. Every dividend reinvested is another seed planted in your money tree. Step 3. Remove friction from every single step. Automation doesn't get scared during market crashes. It doesn't decide to buy a new car instead of investing. It just executes, month after month. That is the difference between dreamers and doers. Systems beat motivation every single time. The people who automate their investing are the ones who actually reach financial independence. So here's your complete blueprint. Invest $3,000 to $4,000 a month consistently into diversified assets, yielding roughly 7% after inflation. That's the core engine of your 10-year retirement plan. Lower your expenses, and the required number drops significantly. Raise your income, and the number becomes far more achievable. Do both at the same time, and the odds tilt heavily in your favor. The timeline is negotiable, but the process is not. Whether it takes 10 years, 12, or 15, the only way out is through consistency. Plant the seeds, water the tree, wait for the fruit. Most people never start. Most who start never continue. One day, 10 years from now, you'll look back at this moment. And the question won't be how much you invested every month. The question will be whether you invested at all. So start today. The clock is already ticking. Now let's talk about REITs, real estate investment trusts. These pay you rental income without you ever buying a single property or dealing with tenants at 2 a.m. REITs historically yield between 4 and 6% annually, and the best part is that rents tend to rise alongside inflation, giving you a natural hedge. If you invest $1,500 a month into REITs for 10 years, you could realistically land somewhere between $280,000 and $300,000. That portfolio could generate roughly $1,200 to $1,500 a month in passive income. Not luxurious, but it starts covering serious monthly expenses. But here's where things get really exciting. Let's look at broad stock market index funds, the S&P 500 type investments that have historically returned around 10% per year. After adjusting for inflation, that 10% becomes roughly 7% in real returns, still powerful, still compounding, and still building wealth while you sleep every single night. $1,500 a month into index funds at 7% real return could grow to over $340,000 in a decade. Now we're talking serious money. That $340,000 could safely generate around $1,400 to $1,600 per month, getting closer to that $3,000 freedom number we said earlier. But we're not at 3,000 yet. So let's zoom out and figure out the real target number, the total portfolio size you actually need to retire and never work again. This is where the 4% rule comes in. It's one of the most important concepts in early retirement planning, and it's backed by decades of research data. The 4% rule says you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year without running out of money. It's your financial safety net for life. So if you need $36,000 a year to live, that's $3,000 a month. You divide that by 4%, and the answer is $900,000. $900,000. That's the magic number. Build a portfolio that size, and it feeds you $3,000 every single month, potentially forever. Now I know what you're thinking. $900,000 in just 10 years? That sounds absolutely impossible. That sounds like a mountain you could never climb. But let's break it down into a monthly number. To hit $900,000 in 10 years at 7% real return, you need to invest roughly $5,500 a month, $5,500 every single month. For most Americans, that's more than their entire paycheck, and that's exactly why most people give up before they even start. They hear that raw number, feel defeated instantly, and go right back to scrolling their phone. But here's what nobody tells you. There are powerful levers you can pull. Lever number 1 is lifestyle design. This is the most powerful lever because it attacks both sides of the equation. It lowers what you need and what you must save. If you can live comfortably on $2,000 a month instead of $3,000, your required portfolio drops from $900,000 all the way down to $600,000. $600,000 is a completely different game. The monthly investment needed shrinks from $5,500 down to roughly $3,700 a month. That's a massive difference. Now, go even leaner. If you can live on $1,500 a month, maybe in a low-cost area or with a paid-off home, you only need $450,000 saved. $450,000 requires only about $2,700 a month in contributions. Now we're in territory where many middle-income American families can realistically play this game. Think about that for a second. By simply choosing to live on less, you just cut your required monthly investment nearly in half. That's the power of lifestyle design. And I'm not talking about eating ramen every night or living in misery. I'm talking about intentional spending, cutting the waste while keeping everything that actually makes you happy. Cancel subscriptions you forgot about. Cook at home more often. Drive a reliable used car instead of leasing a new one every 3 years. Small changes, massive results. Lever number 2 is income growth. And this one is just as powerful because it expands what's possible without requiring you to sacrifice anything you currently enjoy. If you lock yourself into thinking your current salary is all you'll ever earn, the numbers feel absolutely crushing. But that mindset is a trap, and you need to escape it. What if over the next decade you build new skills, switch to a higher paying job, start a side hustle, or negotiate raises every single year? Your income could literally double. If your income doubles, suddenly investing $3,000 to $4,000 a month doesn't feel like a prison sentence. It feels like a deliberate, empowering choice you're making for your future. And here's the beautiful part. When you combine both levers together, lower expenses and higher income, the math shifts dramatically in your favor. The gap closes fast. So let's nail down the exact figure. To retire in 10 years with a reasonable lifestyle, you need to invest between $3,000 and $4,000 every single month consistently. That money needs to go into a diversified portfolio earning around 7% after inflation. Not a savings account, not under your mattress. Real invested assets working for you. It's not $200 a month. It's not even $1,000 a month. The price of a 10-year retirement timeline is high, but the reward is absolute freedom for the rest of your life. Now, here's a psychological truth that nobody in the finance space talks about enough. The first half of this journey feels absolutely brutal. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill. In years 1 through 3, you're carrying the entire load yourself. Your savings rate drives everything. The portfolio is small, the returns are tiny, and it feels pointless. You check your account after a full year of disciplined investing and think that's it? All that sacrifice for this? This is where 90% of people quit. But around year 5, something subtle starts happening. The compounding engine begins to warm up. your returns start becoming a noticeable portion of your total growth each month. By year 7, something magical shifts. The portfolio starts generating returns almost as large as your monthly contributions. The money is finally working alongside you. And by year 10, the portfolio itself is doing more heavy lifting than you are. The snowball is rolling downhill. The tree is giving fruit faster than you can possibly eat it. Let me show you exactly what this looks like with real numbers. Year 1, you invest $36,000. Your portfolio earns maybe $1,200 in returns. Total around $37,000. Year 3, you've put in over $100,000, and the portfolio has earned roughly $15,000 in compounded returns. The green portion is growing, but still small. Year 5, now you've contributed $180,000, but returns have snowballed to nearly $50,000. The green section is getting impossible to ignore on the chart. Year 7, contributions total $252,000, but compounded returns have exploded to over $120,000. The green is almost half the bar now. Year 10, you've put in $360,000 total, but the portfolio has generated over $240,000 in pure compounded returns. The green overtakes the blue. That crossover moment when your money earns more than you contribute is the most powerful moment in your entire financial journey. It means the system is working without you. But here's the thing, none of this works if you rely on willpower alone. Motivation fades, discipline breaks, life throws curveballs. You need something stronger than feelings. The secret isn't willpower or motivation, it's systems. Automated, mechanical, emotion-proof systems that execute your plan whether you feel like it or not every single month. Step 1. Set up automatic transfers from your paycheck directly into your investment accounts. The money moves before you ever see it, before you ever get tempted to spend it. Step 2. Reinvest all dividends automatically. Every dollar your portfolio pays you goes right back in, buying more shares, generating more dividends. The loop feeds itself. Step 3. Remove friction from every single step. Use one brokerage, one strategy, one allocation. Complexity is the enemy of consistency, and consistency is everything. Here's why automation is so powerful. It doesn't get scared during market crashes. When the market drops 30%, your automated system keeps buying at discount prices. Automation doesn't decide to buy a new car instead of investing. It doesn't get jealous of a friend's vacation. It doesn't negotiate with itself at midnight. It just executes. And that mechanical consistency is the difference between people who dream about early retirement and people who actually achieve it. Systems beat motivation every single time. Now, let's talk about what could go wrong, because no honest finance video should skip the risks. The market doesn't go up in a straight line. It never has and never will. During your 10-year journey, you will almost certainly experience at least one major market crash, maybe two. The S&P 500 has crashed over 20% 9 times since 1950. When that crash happens, and it will, every instinct in your body will scream at you to sell everything and run. Your stomach will drop, your hands will shake. But historically, every single crash has been followed by a recovery. Every single one. The market has always come back stronger. That's not optimism, that's 100 years of data. The people who sold during the 2008 crash locked in their losses permanently. The people who kept investing bought shares at massive discounts and made fortunes in the recovery. This is exactly why automation matters so much. Your automated system doesn't panic. It doesn't watch the news. It just keeps buying, especially when prices are low and fear is high. Another risk: inflation could spike higher than expected. If inflation averages 4 or 5% instead of 3, your real returns shrink and your timeline extends by a year or two. That's why flexibility matters. Maybe it takes 12 years instead of 10, maybe 15. The exact timeline is negotiable, but the process of consistent investing is absolutely not. Let's also address the elephant in the room: healthcare. In America, health insurance outside of an employer plan can cost $500 to $1,500 a month for a family. This is a real cost that many early retirement calculators conveniently ignore. You need to factor healthcare into your monthly expense number before calculating your target portfolio size. If healthcare adds $1,000 a month to your expenses, your annual need jumps from $36,000 to $48,000. Your target portfolio rises from $900,000 to $1.2 million. That's a big jump. But remember the levers: geographic arbitrage, ACA marketplace subsidies, part-time work with benefits, or a spouse's employer plan can all bring that number back down. Here's another strategy most people overlook: you don't have to fully retire. What if you just need enough passive income to cover your basics, and you do fun part-time work for extras? This is called Coast Fire or Barista Fire. Your investments cover the essentials, and a low-stress job covers the fun stuff. You're not fully retired, but you're fully free. With Coast Fire, your target portfolio might only need to be $300,000 to $400,000. That requires roughly $1,800 to $2,400 a month for 10 years. Now, that's a number that millions of Americans could actually hit. Not just high earners, not just tech workers. Regular people with regular jobs making intentional choices every single day. So let me give you the complete blueprint. This is the step-by-step system that turns a 10-year retirement dream into an actual executable plan you can start this week. Step 1. Calculate your real monthly expenses. Not what you think you spend, what you actually spend. Track every dollar for one full month. The truth might shock you. Step 2. Multiply that monthly number by 12, then divide by 0.04. That gives you your target portfolio number using the 4% rule. Write it down. Step 3. Use an investment calculator to find the monthly contribution needed to reach that target in 10 years at 7% real return. That's your magic monthly number. Step 4. Set up automatic monthly transfers into a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, pick one and automate everything from day one. Step 5. Attack both sides of the equation simultaneously. Cut unnecessary expenses ruthlessly and pursue every opportunity to grow your income over the next decade. Step 6. Never stop, never pause, never skip a month. The power of this plan lives in its consistency. One missed month won't kill you, but the habit of missing will. Most people will never start this journey. They'll watch this video, nod along, maybe even feel inspired for a few hours and then go right back to their old habits tomorrow morning. Most who actually start will quit within the first 2 years. They'll see the slow growth, feel frustrated, and convince themselves it's not working. The quiet years claim the most victims, but the few